Hello, welcome back to my channel. I am coming at you with a brand new name, as some of you may have noticed. Some of you may not have even realised it was me, but I have now finally settled on a new name for my channel and my new start. And as you can see, I've gone with Suits and Shadows. Thank you to everybody who voted on my community post. This one got almost 50% of the votes and seemed to be the most popular. So I'm very, very happy. I'm going to do the Show Us Your Decks tag today, and this is by Feeding My Soul 1212. I don't know if it's 1212 or it's 1212 or how to say that. Hopefully I'm saying that right. This one's been around for a while. I'm a little bit late to the party. When am I not? It's 15 decks to show you, and with that kind of like preamble out of the way, let's just jump right in. So the very first prompt is a deck you want to use, but for whatever reason hasn't seen any playtime on your desk. For this one, I am going with the Beauty of Horror Tarot by Alan Robert. This is a deck that I bought on a whim, like a complete whim. I saw it, it wasn't on Amazon, it wasn't very expensive. I put it in my, I think I did, I didn't even put it in my basket, I just bought buy now'd, which is unusual for me. I normally do tend to sit on things for a while before I spend money, but I just went ahead and got it. I'm a big horror lover. Anybody who knows me, who's been in our Three Girls lives or has seen any of the other videos on my channel before, you'll probably know that I'm a big fan of horror. This deck really fits in with the kind of stuff that I enjoy and I like, but for whatever reason I have just not yet got it out and actually used it, and I don't know what's holding me back, to be completely honest. I just need to get it out and get it used. The next prompt is the 12th deck from the right on your tarot shelf. I love how much this assumes that my shelf has any kind of organization to it right now and isn't just a fucking hot mess, which is what it actually is. But I did it. I counted mine are in 2 rows, so I just counted the front row, 12th from the right, and it was the Next World Tarot by Christy C. Rode. I have had this deck out recently, which is probably why it's at the front. And it's one, that's not good. That's not good. You don't want to see the backs, you want to see the fronts. Should we pull out a little bit? That's the best you're going to get, I'm afraid. I really like this deck. I'm not as keen on the size, to be fair. I would prefer a smaller deck, but also there's so much detail in this deck that I think if it went smaller, you just wouldn't see it as well. But it feels really like post-apocalyptic, but in a fairly positive way. Like people who are rebuilding the world the way that they want it to look after the after the apocalypse has already happened. That was what would make it post-apocalyptic. And it just, I think it has a lot of hope and joy, and not a great example, but I just think it's a really, really comforting deck at a time when the world feels like it's heading towards apocalyptic. Question number 3, a deck you're thinking about rehoming. I had a few I could have picked, but I actually went with a Literary Tarot. This was a real disappointment for me, actually. My box is printed upside down, which is a real pain. I'm not in love with the guidebook. I think the guidebook could have been better. And as much as I like the style of the deck, I do like the style of the deck. It has these, oh, it's a bit dusty. It has these beautiful backs, beautiful like foiled edges, and it's again, you don't want to see the backs. I haven't done this in ages, can you tell? I don't know what I'm doing. It has these lovely gold foiling, which is picks up on the camera way better than it picks up on the actual card. But there's just, it just doesn't, I just don't connect with it. I don't know enough of the stories, and some of the stories I do know, I don't think fit the card, and I think that the person who's picked the story just wanted that story on a card. I could talk about this at length. I won't. What I will do is refer you to a live that Three Girls One Deck did. For those who don't know, Three Girls One Deck is a regular live that I do with my friends Julie from Peekaboo Rose and Sarah from Sunset Bow Tarot, and we do all kinds of things. So we've done different themes, and we've had a couple of different lives where we've talked about specific decks that we've all bought at the same time. And this is one of them. And none of us came away particularly enamored with this deck. So yeah, I never reach for it. The thing is, I never reach for it. And I think if I did use it, I would use it more as a way to kind of like try and encourage me to read a bit more classics, because classics is not really my thing. And so I think I'm probably going to end up rehoming it at some point. Question number 4 is a deck you don't store in its original box and why. And I have gone with the Tarot Renard, which is this lovely deck here that is upside down. This beautiful, beautiful fox tarot, basically. And I keep it in this beautiful, beautiful fox bag that was made by my lovely friend Sarah at Sunset Bow Tarot. And there's 2 reasons, really, why I keep it in a bag. I keep a couple of my decks in bags instead of the original boxes. One is because I wanted to support my friend's shop, and so I bought some of the bags from her shop in order to do that. And also I just didn't like the box that this deck came in, and I wanted something else to put it in. I freaking love this deck. Like, this is another one. I need to get this out more because I haven't had it out for ages. And every time I look at it, I think, oh, I love that death card. It's so sad. Every time I look at it, I think, oh my God, I need to get this deck out. So I really should do that. Question number 5 is a deck with more than 78 cards. And I don't think I have that many, but the one I have gone for is the Tarot of Oneness. And this one has these 4 additional cards. So it has Higher Self, Oneness, Life Force Energy, and Synchronicity. And to be totally real with you, I do not use these 4 cards. I have taken them out of the deck and they just live in the box separately. But I appreciate that they exist. Oh, I don't know about you, but I can really tell that I haven't filmed one of these videos in a while, or any type of tarot related video in a while. And this is not the best video I've ever put out. So if you're sticking with me, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. I'm sure with a bit of practice, I'll get right back into it again. But for now, let's just muddle through together and get to the end. So the question number 6 is a deck with a cloud on the box. I really struggled with this. I don't think I have that many decks with clouds on the box, but I've gone with Tower of the Divine because there's like this here in front of the sun, which I am assuming is a cloud. I'm assuming. I don't actually know if it is, but I'm going to say that it is. Feel free to fight me about it in the comments if you feel differently. This is a beautiful deck, a really beautiful deck. And it's another one that, like the Literary Tarot, is full of stories. And I love a good story. I am a fan of stories. Which is why I like music with lyrics, and I like films, and I like books, because I love a good story. And so I really do enjoy this deck quite a lot. I am very tempted. I think the bigger guidebook that has the stories in it, I'm still very tempted to buy it. But I think I could probably also just look these stories up online. So we shall see. But I do enjoy this deck a lot. Question number 7 is a deck you've never shown on your channel. And I have this deck which I have never shown on my channel at all, or talked about in a live or shown on YouTube. And this is the Idle Hands Tarot by Richard Davies, I believe. It is a pip deck, which, shocker, because pip decks are not normally my preference. It's still in order because this is another one that I haven't actually used yet. But I saw this online. I cannot remember where I saw it or when, but I saw this online and I just really liked the black and white monochromeness of it. And I only have one other black and white deck, which is the Tower of the Abyss. And I really like that one. And I wanted another black and white one in a slightly different style. And so I went ahead with it. The cards are reasonably large, so they are difficult to hold. It does have a very macabre feel to it, which the Tower of the Abyss doesn't necessarily have. And as I say, once you get into the minors, it is in fact a pip deck, which is also something that I still am not necessarily always drawn to, but I really do like it quite a lot. And it's another one that's on my list of decks that I really need to pull out and work with. Question number 8 is a deck with another animal besides a lion in the strength card. And I have gone with the Gentle Tarot by Mary in the Sky, which has this beautiful, beautiful whale as the strength card. It's a fantastic strength card. I really like this choice. And I think if you're not going to go with a lion, a whale is a fantastic choice to go with instead. I was going through a lot of my decks on a side note, and I found that either they had a lion in, or they just had a person and had no animal at all. I was finding it difficult to find one that had a person and a different animal other than a lion. And this one obviously doesn't have any people. This deck doesn't have any people in it, I don't think, or very many. So yeah, interesting side note, I don't have a lot of decks that have a person and another animal besides a lion. Question number 9 is a deck that comes in a box inside another box. I don't have a deck for this. None of my decks come inside a box within another box. I didn't know that was even a thing until this tag came out. And then question number 10 is a deck that would not appear in your top 10 faves, and I have gone with the Cat Tarot. Although I have enough decks that I could have gone with many. There are many of my decks that wouldn't fit into my top 10. This one I do like. I love this death card. I love this death card. I can't actually tell that it's two different artists. I think the art style is really consistent throughout the deck. This is just one of those decks that is, I like to say, aggressively fine. It's just aggressively fine. It's not a bad deck, but it's not doing anything new or exciting or wow. Like, it's not blowing me away with anything. It's just a really fine deck. And it's one that I will keep, and it's one that I'm sure I will continue to use because I like the artwork, but it's just not one that I feel any kind of like huge pull towards. I just like it enough. And then question 11 is a deck you associate with the colour green. I feel like I've kind of cheated on this one because I have gone with the Green Witch Tarot, which actually has the colour green in the title. And the backs are very green, and I believe the box that it comes in is also green, although I now keep it in a bag instead. But yeah, this deck is, out of all of them, is the one that most fits with this question. Like, I do associate this deck with the colour green, and I did try and look at other decks to see if I could pick one that was a little less on the nose, but this was the one that just made the most sense out of all the decks that I own. This is another one I haven't used for a while, and well, now I'm looking at it while I'm showing you some of the cards. I'm like, I really need to get this deck out again. I have so many decks that sit at the back of my shelf that I just don't get out enough. And I really need to. Anyway, moving on. Question number 12, a second-hand, pre-loved, pre-owned, thrifted deck. For this, I have gone with the Mystical Manga Tarot by Ran, text by Barbara Moore. I don't know what all this white stuff is. This is my work desk and I eat at it too, so when I'm working, so apologies for that. First of all, Barbara Moore guidebook. Need more of those in my life. I love me a Barbara Moore guidebook. This is a mass market deck, but it is a mass market deck that I actually purchased from somebody through a tarot group on Facebook back in the days when I was on Facebook. And so it felt like a good choice. Another deck that I haven't used in a while. I haven't shown in a while. I haven't made videos in a while, so I haven't shown any of my decks in a while, to be real. But I really love this deck. I'm a big fan of manga. I'm a big fan of that kind of style of art. And so this deck really appeals to me. And I have used it in the past and had very good readings with it. And I'm really happy that I own it. I think I ended up just paying not very much for it. I think I paid maybe just the delivery for it, but I would have quite happily bought it first hand, but somebody was letting it go, and so I wanted to give it a good home instead of buying a new one. So question number 13 is a deck in your collection with the most used guidebook. I don't often use the guidebook. I like to flick through them and see what they're offering when I get the deck, and maybe when I first start working with the deck, I might consult the guidebook more. As a general rule, I don't tend to be that drawn to each of the guidebooks, and so I'm a little bit less interested in the guidebooks as in terms of what I want from a deck. But I do love and I do use the Shadowland Tarot guidebook by Monica Bodersky. I don't know if I'm saying that right. And every time I use this deck, I use the full guidebook because it has this message, which is great, but it has these reflections. And I really, the thing that I find most powerful about tarot is using tarot as a tool to journal. And so I find these questions for reflection really, really useful when pulling a card from this deck and then using these as a way to jump off into journaling. I love this guidebook. I think this is one of the best guidebooks also that I own. So any guidebook like that. I think I also use quite a bit the online guidebook for the Lightseers Tarot, because that also has questions. And again, that's something that I am really interested in, is a guidebook that comes with reflection questions or journal prompts related to the particular card. That is what I am looking for in a guidebook right now. Question 14 is a deck with water on the box. Again, I didn't think I had any, and I was really getting to a point where I was like, oh my God, I don't have any for this question. But then I discovered that this version of the Cosmic Tarot, which is different to the one I used to own, this is my second copy of this deck, does have water on the box. This is a deck that I owned for a long time, back before I really knew what I was doing with the tarot. And I gave it away. And then I ended up really missing it as I got more comfortable with the tarot and what I was doing and how I was using the tarot and all of that kind of stuff. I really wanted it back. And so now I have a second copy that was very kindly gifted to me. And this is a fun deck. It is a fun deck. It does have, a lot of the characters in the deck are from movies or they're actors of some kind. Some of them you'll recognize, some of them you probably won't. I'm the same. But it reads really well. I think it reads really, really well. It's one that I have used actually to read for other people, although that's not something I do very often. And people always seem to react very well to this deck as well. So yeah, I don't know why I'm telling you that. It's got absolutely nothing to do with the prompt, which was about water on the deck, on the box. But there you go. Now you have some additional information. And then the very last prompt, prompt number 15, is a deck with your most favourite card ever and why. I have gone for the Bangtan Tarot, a deck that was made by Julie, Sarah and I in a very, very chaotic 2 weeks. One of the reasons that I picked this deck is because I love it. It's one of my favorites because it has so much personal value invested in it that obviously none of my other decks do. But also, I have talked about the card that I'm about to show you being my favorite version of this card at length previously in other lives and videos, and that is the Three of Swords. I love this card, and I don't even know if I can explain to you why I love it so much, but there is something about the imagery of this card that combined with the meaning of the Three of Swords that really speaks to me on a really visceral level, and it brings up so much pain. There's just something about this card that speaks to me so strongly and moves me so much that I just really love it. I love it more than any other card in any other deck that I own. And that is all 15 prompts for the Show Us Your Decks tag. I think it also is called Get Your Decks Out. I think it has 2 hashtags. I'm not really sure. There is a part 2. I will try and come back and do the part 2 at some point. If you've made it this far, thank you again for sticking with me, and sorry that this was not the most well put together video ever. I will get back into the swing of this and get better, I promise. Thanks everyone for watching. Take care and lots of love. Bye bye.